What's up, everybody? Darren Brazil here, and I am stoked because there's a brand new Rocky movie coming out. Not really, no, it's not a Rocky movie. It's actually Creed, and that's important to say because Stallone has gone on record saying that this is not Rocky 7. It's actually Creed 1. This is a brand new movie that takes place within the world, the timeline, the universe of Rocky. Yes, there's a Rocky universe. It just sounds good to say that. That said, let's introduce ourselves to the main character here. This is Adonis Johnson. He is Apollo Creed's son. Yes, different last name, but Adonis Johnson, played by Michael B. Jordan. And you can see him just warming up backstage here before a big fight, comes walking out. But let's move forward a little bit here, 42 seconds into this trailer, and we see that we are back in Philadelphia. Yep, back in good old Philly, Eagle Pride going on. And here's Michael B. Jordan again, Adonis Johnson. He's walking out of Mighty Mix Gym. Yep, that is a nice little nod to Mickey Goldmill, played by Burgess Meredith, who was obviously Rocky's trainer throughout most of the movies. And spoiler alert, he died. But this is a nice little nod. We see he's back in Philly, and he's training at Mix's Gym, which is super awesome. Move forward a little bit here, and you also see in the gymnasium, while everyone's working out, look at the background on the left. Boom, nice big photo of good old Apollo Creed, Adonis's dad. Now, it's important to know that the plot synopsis here basically says that Adonis Johnson travels back to Philadelphia to seek out Rocky Balboa to train him. So there's a lot of controversy surrounding this whole thing and the timeline of the original Rocky movies and what's going on in this film and the place of this film in the timeline. So what the argument is that Apollo's son would be too old by now. So that could be true, but according to the casting, Adonis seemingly doesn't share his father's surname of Creed. Like I said earlier, he's Adonis Johnson. And in the trailer, even in this moment right here, he says, "I never knew my dad. I never knew him." So it seems that he was born after Apollo died, right? So there's two reasonings to that. Is he an illegitimate child, maybe, of Apollo Creed that he had somewhere else with some other lady? Or was Apollo's wife pregnant before Apollo died against Ivan Drago in Rocky IV? Either one's the option, but I think actually that Apollo's wife was pregnant with Adonis Johnson before he died. So according to the Rocky timeline, that match in Rocky IV occurred in 1982. Now, the movie was released in 1985, but that match occurred in 1982 in that timeline. So Adonis could have been born in 1982 or 1983, which would put him, if this movie takes place in the current time frame of now, in 2015, puts him in his mid to early 30s. So in this scenario, it makes sense. Totally plausible that this is Apollo Creed's son, Adonis Johnson. We jump forward a little bit, and I think this casting of Michael B. Jordan is absolutely amazing. I mean, look at his face, his expressions, the way he kind of bounces in the corner here before the fight, the little swag he has. Like, he looks just like he could be Apollo Creed's son, who was originally played, obviously, by Carl Weathers, the original Rockies. We jump forward a little bit, and you might be able to hear in the background, but, you know, 120 into the trailer here, Lupe Fiasco's The Prisoner 1 and 2. An awesome song, really gets the vibe and kind of that feel of what, you know, the underdog and coming back and that boxing flair. It makes you want to just jump in the gym. It's awesome. But here's another interesting thing. We see Mary Ann Creed, who is played in this movie by Felicia Rashad, but was originally played by Sylvia Meals. This is Apollo's wife, original wife, which also, again, goes back to making me feel that this actually is her child, that she was pregnant before Apollo stepped to the ring and died that night. And so this would leads me more to that he's not an illegitimate child, that he's actually a child of Apollo Creed. Perhaps she remarried, and maybe Adonis took on his stepfather's last name, feeling closer to him. That's a possibility. But anyways, we jump forward here. We see a lot of interaction going on. Obviously, there's a love interest of some sort. He goes through some struggles here. But this is interesting. Now we jump ourselves into Philadelphia's Adrian's Restaurant. Actually, is really Victor's Cafe in Philadelphia. But in the movie, Adrian's Restaurant, owned by the one and only Rocky Balboa, who we were introduced to him owning this restaurant in Rocky Balboa, the movie, which came out in 2006. And this is the part where Rocky actually doesn't know Adonis. He doesn't recognize him. He doesn't know who he is, which is really interesting. And this is where Adonis reveals to him that I'm Apollo's son. Obviously, that sets, you know, events in motion where he obviously goes to start training him, and the movie takes off from there. But we jump forward a little bit more here, and what's really cool, just like a lot of the Rocky movies in the past, there's always been cameos from, you know, notable people or celebrities or boxers. In this case, we do have a boxer that plays the antagonist, basically, the person that Adonis is going to fight in the main match of the movie. This is played in the movie. It's Pretty Ricky Conlon, who is actually played by real-life pro boxer Tony Bellew, who is a 3-time former ABA heavyweight champion from Britain. And so that's super cool. I love the realistic aspect that they always bring when they bring a real boxer and to kind of add that realism of the fights, that hard hitting of the fights. But we jump forward a little bit more. What's really cool, like I said earlier, he goes by Adonis Johnson, which is, kind of sad, right? Considering like his dad was so awesome, so cool. But later on, you see him. This is most likely the main event fight that happens later in the movie. Adonis Johnson now wearing the Apollo Creed shorts. He has Creed across the waistband. It's the old school American flag throwback to what his dad wore and what also Rocky wore in Rocky IV. So maybe throughout the movie, his training with Rocky helped him feel a little bit closer to his father, and that would be a very touching thing if that's the case. A couple seconds later, you also see the classic shot, which happens pretty much every Rocky movie, almost every boxing movie, I think. Somebody watching somebody box and crying as they watch. And of course, this is Mama Creed, presumably watching her son, maybe fighting on TV and crying as she goes. And then last but not least, I don't think you can have a Rocky movie without this. It's been in every single one. Training montage. You have to have a training montage. This obviously is a nice little nod to, the original Rocky training montage where he's running through Philly, runs up the steps. He's even wearing the gray jumpsuit. So this is an awesome thing to see. I'm super stoked about it. And I think that this movie actually, I wasn't expecting much out of the trailer, but once I saw it, man, I am absolutely stoked now to go see it. Comes out later this year, November 25th to be exact. Brand new Rocky's addition to the Rocky universe. This Creed movie, I'm going to be there and see it. So let me know if I missed anything. There's a lot of little tidbits, a lot of posters in the background while he's working out of the gym. Leave your comments. Let me know if I missed anything. And for more stuff on all things Rocky and all things Creed, keep it locked here to IGN.